Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money bird while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved.
Boom! What's going on, everybody? Hello and welcome. Boom. Oh, what a dramatic entrance from Meow today. The showman is here. How's it going, everybody? Drop a little JM in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from. We have a lot to cover today. No other way to say it.
Bangers has a crush.
Shout out to my crush Bangers. Is Bangers here in the chat, or are people just randomly professing their love to Bangers here?
Probably random, yeah. But she does like sometimes, you know? Yeah.
Bangers is great. I get it. Makes sense. Fine. All good. Everything. Yeah, it's good to see everybody. We have people here from Portugal and Canada and Nigeria and Hungary and everywhere else. We have all the homies here. I see Wake's here, Sax is here. Bunch of other folks are here as well. Let's get into the main meat of things today. What do you say, Meow?
Let's go.
All right, folks. Today it is indeed the planetary call. It is indeed August 14th, and it is indeed going to be a frank talk. about the Jupiverse. A lot of stuff has been going on in the last few weeks across not just the Jupiter platform, the Jupiter token, but also the JUP community. And today's call, it's all focused on that. But before we get there, before we get into the Frank talk, I think we need to play the unofficial Cadet theme song first. What do you think, Meow?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. God bless all the people that have never seen a call before and see that for the first time. Meow, it's been a while, brother. I mean, obviously, you and I have talked, but to the JUP community, it has been a while. It's good to see y'all, folks. I mean, we've had 2 weeks off at this point, or didn't have a call last week.
I think we took I think we had a conversation, and then I think Suju, it was a Twitter space, and obviously a bunch of things happened last week, right? You know, I think we had a banger week the week before. Lots of stuff happened, and last week was pretty traumatic for lots of people. You know, right? I think you know, yeah.
That it was, and we're gonna dig into all of that here, but we are so back, as Sensei says. And indeed, in case you are here,
thank you so much. Yeah,
it's good to be back.
In case you are new around here, I love Sensei, man. Sensei is always like Sensei is like literally my Twitter Sensei. I think you know, I think he has always been hyper supportive since the early JUP days, and you know, I think yeah, so really good to have him here. You know. Yeah, it's
good. And shout out to everybody that uses this. Cancel your Netflix subscription. You don't need it. Just rewatch the Planetary call every day. That's very odd as well. In case you don't know, my name is Cash. I am the lead over at the Uplink Working Group, which produces this call. Me and many other folks work to make this happen for you. And of course, everybody already knows Meow, professional cat, co-founder of Jupiter. It's going to be just the two of us today. Typically, these calls focus on a few different sections, right? We'll talk about the wins of the week. We'll highlight some great sponsors, some great partners. We'll talk about some PPP communities. But today, we're going to do things a little bit different. Today's agenda is tight. We're focusing on the 3 pillars of the Jupiverse. The Jupiter platform and all the stuff that's been going on, particularly in the last 2 weeks. Because as people might have noticed, there's been some issues that are in the process of being resolved. We need to talk about those and be honest here. Then we're going to talk about the JUP token. Obviously, a major proposal was passed recently, and it's our first planetary call since then. So we got to talk about where do we go from here with the JUP token. And then finally, with the JUP community. For the folks that don't, that's Jupiter platform, JUP the token, JUP for the community. A lot of stuff happening with the work groups, LFG, and Catdets that we're going to talk about over the course of today. So,
just to give some context, right? I think as you know, I think for us, we are always trying to figure out a way to make sense of everything, right? Because there's so much going on, right? So I think over here, I think it's quite nice to think of the Jupiverse as having like 3 main categories, right? You know, there's Jupiter platform, JUP the token, and JUP the community. You know, so I think this is the first time we're going to try to structure it along these ways. I think the reason for structuring it this way is that I think there's actually been a lot that's been going on, right? You know, across the platform, the token, and the community. And we think that it's actually a really good time now to take a step back, you know, to kind of think about where we are on these different things and go from there. Yep.
That's right. That's right. And I think this is like one of the cool things about this call in particular, right? Is that like, you know, other protocols, there might be some troubles, there might be some new developments that come out. You only hear about it kind of like after the fact. The thing that's beautiful about this call is that every week it's here with some transparency. And we're going to try to ask the hard questions. So if people here in the chat, hopefully all of you guys are users of Jupiter, you probably have some questions or some comments or some feelings or some thoughts. Let it be known in the chat. We'll try to address it all as we go through as well. That was
So
a
actually,
bit of a
one person already said something and stuff. Keep the main product as perfect as possible. So straight talk. Let's just start the straight talk right here, right?
Let's do it. Let's go.
So I think at Jupiter, obviously, so thanks BDEX country. I think so one of the things that we do a lot is obviously improving the product, right? But the other thing that we do a lot is experiment as well, right? Right. So so we experiment a lot in terms of dynamic slippage, dynamic gas, and dynamic everything, right? So we do a lot of that. And I think and obviously we also experiment a lot of things, right? Like LFG Launchpad. We announced partnerships. We are going to actually introduce like new mechanisms for token launching and distributing and everything. So I think one thing that people do actually fear of is that they think that I think so. Actually, what we are doing now is that we are actually structuring everything, right, in a way that like we want to be able to really focus on keeping the main product as good as possible. Right, right. Yet at the same time being able to experiment with things as well, right? And you kind of see that with the spot product, right? Whereby we kind of like grouped a number of things. We kind of streamlined a number of things under spot product, and then we actually internally we have a number of we are focusing practically all the core guys on the main product, on the main spot product, right? On making that as good as possible, and also kind of and also so I think we are actually extremely conscious of the fact that we need to keep the main product as good as possible. So that's actually one thing. And I would actually admit right here on this call that it has been a little bit of a it hasn't always been easy, right? Trying to kind of balance both things, trying to balance both in terms of like trying to balance both the main stuff and also the experiments. But I think we're making really good progress. And I hope to kind of like be able to I hope that in the next like 6 weeks we can really have everything sorted out. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, sorry, Meow, I just lost you there. So maybe let's use that as a segue and start to talk about this first post that you put up somewhat recently around some of the things that are happening or that have been happening with this.
Maybe zoom in a little bit. Zoom in.
Are you going to yell at me for zooming in too much?
No. Just zoom in once. Yeah.
Just once?
Yeah.
Maybe out in the okay. Yeah, here we go.
A bit more. Yeah. There you go.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think,
maybe we can briefly go through this. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. So I feel like this essay is all there, right? Maybe someone can post the link here. But essentially, I think I posted this a week ago about a number of problems we're facing with the spot product. Right? So 2 weeks ago, about last week about when the market was very, very volatile, right? Our spot product didn't work well, right? And it was actually a major problem, right? And the reason it didn't work well was actually because I think some of the because we had tried to automate a lot of stuff, right? Because our goal here is that we want to make it as easy as possible, right? The best product, best price, best UX, right? I think in the process of automating and also saving gas and also saving the gas for the users, I think we kind of configured the mean gas to be a bit too low, and also there were some miscalculations about the gas thing. They didn't really show up, right? Until the congestion period. Makes sense. So that was actually when but when it hit and stuff, and actually and a lot of users had problems, right? So the gas was just way too low, right? And a lot of users had issues for like I think about maybe a day or something, right? There's some really big problems getting it through, right? And then they were extremely frustrated, right? I think this is an example of where experimentation is good, but we might actually end up like having some problems, right? So I think when things don't work. Yeah, so I think this is something I feel extremely bad about. And I think that and so we are working on improving monitoring, improving better heuristics, and also more modes, and also we actually as well. But I just want to be very clear on something that we fucked up, right on this front. And I'm very grateful for everyone for being like understanding, and we'll try to improve it. Yeah, and I think that we also do as well is that we also have a free code API that we provide for the ecosystem. It's actually a really important API because practically everyone that uses Solana, that starts coding Solana, the first thing they use is the API, right? Because we actually maintain enormous amounts of effort, not just not just in terms of the API itself, but also in all the supporting infrastructure around the API. But unfortunately, what happens, right, is that some people abuse it, right? Because it's so easy to spin up a new server these days. What they do is that they basically rate limit, they spin out like 20 servers, right? Saying to keep my rate limit. right? So I think so we are at a point about like so sometimes I think we want to provide this API, but sometimes it gets abused to the point that it degrades our main service, right? Insane. So I feel like that is also so I feel like sometimes our code backend is really slow because of that. Basically I think I'm not making any excuses here for things that do not working so well. But I just want to be clear that I think we do actually are cognizant that we might be overstretched. We might have experimented too much sometimes. But we'll just we are figuring out and we're actually trying to improve it. Yeah.
So I guess one thing that, like, if as a Jupiter user myself, I'm curious, like, these kind of, it's understandable that problems happen, but there's a question around like what kind of like testing is happening to focus on. You pulled this chat.
Yeah, put it sorry. Yes, I will speak slower. Thank you. Sorry.
Anytime you see me doing this motion, that's that'll be the But yeah, maybe can you talk about like some of the testing behind JupiterSpot and like why this wasn't caught? I appreciate that obviously the volatility and the congestion are somewhat new, but we had volatility and congestion back in March. And Jupiter kind of like dealt with it there. Was there something unique here that escaped the testing, or how did we end up in this kind of situation, you think? If you're doing
great question. Great question. I mean, I would have to say here that basically because there basically is a large number of APIs that provide large number of which can derive the optimal gas, right? Actually also optimal gas on Solana is also a much more complicated topic because Solana is not like Ethereum. There's a global gas on Ethereum, right? On Solana, the gas is like specific to each and every the markets you use and you're touching, right? And also furthermore, there really isn't a locked in science on how to do that right now, right? And so what happened was that I think we had a certain bug in the and I mentioned it in my you can also pull up the other tweet, by the way. Saying there's also a bug in kind of how we there's also a bug in how we calculate the gas. I think it got our attention simply because I think it was hard to simulate the congestion conditions. You know what I mean? Yeah, that would have caught it. But again, I think that will actually it's actually totally catchable. If but I think it caught our eye. So we should really have like put more attention to it. Yep.
Gotcha. And so then going forward, presumably there is like some folks who are focused more on testing going forward for like these extreme conditions.
Yeah, I think it's still very hard to test. But so far I think we're doing a pretty good job there. I think the most important thing is actually monitoring. Just monitoring the transaction that go on, right? And if there's a spike, if there's a big dip in transaction success, right? Then we got to pick it up again. So I think obviously you can say more testing, right? But the most important thing actually is around the congestion monitoring, the transaction monitoring, right? So if congestion if congestion on our website tends to fail a lot, then I think we need to just do something about it. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken,
also monitoring, we are also working in the sorry, go on.
I was gonna say the monitoring side of things. There's like I think that there's a service that like literally calls you on your phone and like wakes you up if something goes sideways. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean we do have that set up. It's just there's a lot of potential fuck-ups. Yeah, it's just one of those things that we as a team that has been running this for a while, right, do try to improve it. But sometimes gaps happen. Yeah, and that was us again.
Got it. Oh, is Meow? Are you still there? Or am I frozen? I don't know. Please just stop trailing stop order, please. Okay, well maybe next we can go into the DCA analysis as well, because there were some things happening over on that side. Probably be worth a look too. So let me just pull this up. This is another tweet from Meow. I'll pop this into the chat here. There we go. Yeah, DCA analysis. Cool.
Yeah.
Meow, are you back?
So actually, there's also a really big there's also a really big drama that actually someone's asking about fees. Can you pull up the tweet about the fees and stuff or clarify the fees?
Yes. Let me find that. Yeah, it's true. So that separate. So there were, I guess we should probably distinguish here. There were some problems that are genuine problems over Jupiter, and then there were some things that were misunderstandings, FUD, slander, whatever you want to call them. And I think that this fees thing comes into that second category.
Yes, for sure slander, yes.
Yeah, slander, that's the way to see it. So let me pull up that tweet here. But for anyone who did not see it, here we go. I'll pull
so over this on, so guys, this is actually very important, okay? I really cover this, okay? So over the weekend, there was a situation where one of our API users, offloaded a number of tokens, right? And causing a certain crash, in the market. And I feel like can you scroll a little bit?
Scroll. Yep.
No, sorry, scroll up a bit. And actually, one thing, and one thing that's interesting here, right, is that I think we got accused of like being the person, right? Actually, it wasn't us, right? But then wildfire, the information spread like wildfire. There was us, and the issue was that, and that really caused us a lot of reputational damage, So I feel like that's actually a very, very, very it was actually really bad. Like, can you scroll up? Can you mind scrolling up? Do you mind scrolling up? Go back. Yeah, it's like misinformation just spread really bad, right? It was really, really bad information.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the bullshit. There's the bullshit asymmetry principle. Have you heard this? Where the energy required to dispute a piece of bullshit is 10x the amount of energy required to create a piece of bullshit in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And so you have this kind of asymmetric problem.
Even after SoScan clarified the account wasn't us, right? You know what I'm saying? But okay, honestly, and then many of the accounts that tweeted about it, right, didn't actually fix it, right? And it's a big problem. It's like if you tweet misinformation, you should actually fix it.
Correct.
That's actually really bad, by the way.
Yeah.
So I just want to do a big thanks to really big thanks to everyone who helped to clarify the situation, right? And also who actually especially all the cadets and all the community members who helped speak out to us on like Twitter and Discord. And the crazy thing is, crazy thing is, even after that thing got clarified, right? There were a lot of people telling me on the space that they went on the space and then they went on the space and lots of people were still complaining, right? So I think there's actually a lot of people who still haven't heard about that yet. Crazy. But actually, honestly, though, here's the thing, right? So I think, but it does actually say one thing, right? I think our partners actually do make a lot of fees.
That is true. I think that there's Soju tweeted something like 100 million. I think with my own conversations with Xiang, it's like 200 million or something like that.
Yeah, way more than 100. Yeah, I think partners using the JUP API, and I think partners using the JUP API and stuff have actually made a lot of a lot of revenue, right, on things. It's just, I just think they could handle that thing more elegantly, right? But whatever the thing is, here's the guys. But whatever things, guys, here you go, right? There's actually a lot of revenue to be made if you build the right product, So feel free to take the Jupiter API, and do stuff with it. You know what I'm saying? That 26 million could be yours someday.
That's true. So just to recap this piece of FUD, because again, like I said, there are some genuine problems and then there are some slanderous things. This was in the slanderous camp. This is not a real problem. Jupiter, for anyone who doesn't know, people maybe don't know if you're just watching this call or new to Jupiter. Jupiter Swap on Jup.ag charges no fees. You get the exact rate. It is only, there are small fees associated with other builders who might integrate Jupiter Swap in. So from there, Jupiter takes a very small percentage of the fee. Too small in my personal opinion, but takes a small percentage of the fee. And so it was those partners who might have been selling off tokens or doing whatever else. We don't exactly know who it was, but it was absolutely not the Jupiter team. That's the key thing to know.
Yeah, I mean, we do charge fees on DCA and limit order and perps, right? But the main swap, but we provide the main swap. We have been maintaining the main swap free for the ecosystem and our partners for free for like years, right? And it's kind of like the thing that we do, kind of as a, to the users and the community, right? Because I think it's actually a really important thing to do. I think, so we do that. Yep.
Makes sense. Okay, so
I'm really happy to. Yeah. Let's go on. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about some of the spot issues. We talked about the kind of fake FUD that was going on. Do you want to talk about this DCA, the issues that have been over on the dollar cost average?
Yes.
As well?
So actually DCA, there was some DCA. When it rains, it pours. Right? When it rains, it pours. So we had some DCA problems as well, right? By the way, guys, This call is not going to be an ascending call. Okay, this is not a pumpy call. Okay, this is a call where we do like retrospective reflections on things that we didn't do that well. Okay, cool, right? And we try to discuss how to improve it and what we're doing to improve it, like internally and externally and everything and stuff. So this is not a this is not a pumpy call.
I dare say we rarely have puppy calls. I think we do a pretty good job of keeping things down the middle. But I will say you are downplaying something. There are some exciting announcements about the future of the JUP community at the end of the call that are more future oriented. That I think people on the folks will be.
It's okay.
But yeah, let's focus for right now on the.
But for this year, but this year is always a fanfare feature, right? And there were two things that happened. First of all, the service did go down for a 6-hour period. Okay, and actually it's too long. 6 hours is too long. Okay, I feel very sorry for that. And the reason why the alerting systems were not triggered again is because like the service was up. It was just like not processing the most of it. I'm saying right. So you know what I'm saying. So that was such a problem, right? Because service was up but wasn't processing most of it, so it didn't trigger. Right, you know. So again, it's mostly a matter of like triggering if the it's also it's a matter of triggering when when things don't work as well again. Right, it's not just triggering when it's completely down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think anyway for this year and nothing that happened was that I think okay. So one thing that we are actually having quite a lot of problems with, right, across all our products, right, LO and DC and everything, right, is that it's actually the explosion of tokens. Right. So when you go from so we built a lot of the architecture back when there was like fewer tokens, right? Maybe like 100 tokens a day and not 20,000 tokens a day, right? Right.
Small difference, yeah.
Right. So as a result, I think we are currently having to re-engineer a lot of things constantly, right? To keep up with the fact that because for example, scanning prices over like 20,000 tokens is and kind of like doing price check. So for example, in DCA's case, right, we do a price check, right? Between between a spot price and execution price, and then if the spot price and execution line is too far apart, we don't execute it, right? For safety reasons, right? Because DCA was built partly for aping, but the vast majority is for safety, right? So there's this safety check there, right? So and when we disable a safety check, sometimes users get bad price execution. Right, so we have this safety check there, and actually, what happened was that when some users want to sell like low liquidity tokens, the quoted price and the quoted price and the execution price became too big.
The gap between the two, you mean?
Yeah, because for example, right? Say for example, say you're SOL, right? Say if you're SOL and stuff, buying $1 or so and 10,000 or so, the price execution is not different. Make sense?
There's enough liquidity behind.
But then if you're if it's a low liquidity coin, right? Selling $1 and selling $1,000 could be a big difference, right? So users can get extremely frustrated when you do a DCA to sell or buy. You know what I'm saying? Right? But it doesn't execute. Right? Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like our problems because we didn't make it clear in UI, right? So to the user, it just looks like things are not working. That makes sense. Yeah, but I guess it's a problem because we just didn't communicate that well, right? Per se. So I think we made a bunch of changes. I mean, we made a bunch of changes to the whole setup, right? I'm saying like hopefully it gets better from here. Yeah. But the fundamental issue here, right, is that it does actually get like significantly more complicated to do any kind of price checking mechanisms. Right? When the low liquidity stuff, things like that, and last but not least, we do actually have some pretty inefficient systems in place, and we kind of like upgraded that over the weekend as well, or over the past few days as well. So we are continuing monitoring our DCA systems, and if anyone is on DCA, and if things don't work that well, please ping us. Okay, I'll personally give you a bounty. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's kind of nice. DC at the dollar.
I'm actually very serious. Yeah, precisely. So that's the thing that I wanted to do. That's the thing we should be doing. Right? Yeah, on that as well. Yeah. But guys, seriously, for DCA, limit order, we have a lot of problems. We are working through it. I'll just cover it right now. Our limit order right now is like pretty stressed out. Okay, because I think the infrastructure to do like price checking and everything was built on in a much earlier days, right? When there are much fewer tokens, and it hasn't quite been scaled yet to be handled like like way more tokens, right? So we just haven't been able to do that well, right? So as a result, L execution is not that great. So what we're doing now is that we're actually taking a step back and kind of focusing on the top 200 tokens like Sol and Jup and whatnot. I'm saying also the more popular meme coins, and having like tighter service guarantees for these things, for top 200 tokens, and then for everything else, I think we will still allow execution, but we can't. We just have a warning that, hey, you know what, it might not be that great. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's sense. Yeah. So I think that is what we're going to do. Yeah. Yep.
So, I think that the decision on the DCA side in particular was clearly made to optimize like trader safety over all else, basically, right? So that this way you can't get attacked by like, vicious slippage or some kind of manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? Because you do have this like extremely different like guys. So think about it, right? We do a lot, right, to protect the user, right? Dynamic slippage, dynamic gas, and also everything else. Like for example, our dynamic slippage actually executes at like 0.1% most of the time, right? And then if it's volatile, then we execute higher, right? And it's actually tricky because, as I mentioned, some people don't want that. They get very frustrated by that. They go, okay, you know what? It's fucking annoying. I don't want that. I really want to execute at the 3%. I don't care, right? So actually, some platforms just go, okay, we don't care. Let's go 20%, right? So I think for us, I think that one of the ongoing kind of like difficulties has been like, okay, we want to service kind of like this set of users that actually, frankly, account for a lot of the new users, right? But we also want to make it work really well for the people that was here since day one, right? You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
So I think this is actually one of the contradiction, right? I think a lot of new users, they're more like meme coin traders, and they just want to get done, right? Want to get it done, right? And everyone else, and then our most of users who have been us since day one, and actually since day one has been more conservative in terms of settings, right? Make sense? So I think for us, okay, how do we kind of like how do we kind of make sure that we do? Because one of the things that I don't lose our core, right? I don't want us to lose our core community, right? Those have been using us since day one, right? And still keep them like protected and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right?
So,
and also
I think there's a significant trade-off, right? Like that's the key question, especially with DCA, where like the value prop of it is to be like reliable and it's there, it's buying every day, right? Like that's the idea.
Yeah.
So there's trade-off between like safety and making sure, let's call it liveness to use like blockchain terms, even though it's not one-to-one corresponding.
Okay, I get it. It's fine.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It's like there's that trade-off that goes, and I'm just curious like how you think about that going forward for DCA and limit orders in particular, where kind of like the liveness is so important. Like it is important that they work. Even if potentially if it's less safe or there's more opportunity for issues. So
I feel like there's no answer actually. I feel like I'm actually really excited about the upcoming changes we're doing to the spot product. Right, we're going to introduce a large number of things like dynamic slippage. And by the way, I think guys, I think we are really we are really kind of like making really good progress on dynamic slippage, right? I have some confidence that dynamic slippage in our V2 that we're rolling out soon will be the best thing ever, right? Because it will allow us to very quickly adjust to market conditions and also be able to kind of like provide a level of slippage that's actually pretty good. That's actually a pretty good execution as well, right? So I'm really excited about that. So I think for us, Sorry, go on.
I'm very excited about this. All partners who use the Jupiter API will also get access to that.
Exactly. It's actually very
That's pretty crazy, actually.
This is actually amazing because all the partners that use the Jupiter, right, will be able to do like dynamic slippage too. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, that means every single partner that uses Jupiter Swap can actually dynamic slippage.
Which is basically every major wallet as well as every major DeFi app that has like swap.
Yes, accurate. So this is another thing that we do, right? We try to. And by the way, no one does this in DeFi. No one, right? Not even close, right? No one does dynamic. No one does dynamic slippage on the front end, right? And certainly no one provides dynamic slippage as a service to all partners on the back end. No one.
Yeah.
Right. No one. Right. So we are really trying to kind of make it as good as possible for them to use. You know what I mean?
Grow the pie mentality. You gotta say.
Yeah, but we'll see. We're still testing it out. We're still testing it first and stuff. And I think, but backend has some problems, right? Because if it doesn't work, doesn't fucking work.
It's no good if it doesn't work. That's the whole point, right?
So I feel like there needs to be some kind of reasonable rollback, like 0.5 or something. Right.
Okay. Well,
I feel like so one of the things that I'll make sure is okay. Hey, if shit doesn't work and stuff, right? If shit doesn't work, better be a backup.
That's I think a pretty good solution, honestly. It is. The fact that it's complicated, it is, as Wake is saying, dynamic slippage complicated AF, and giving its API users for free is fucking crazy. Where did Meow go? We just lost Meow because it's too crazy. His mind was blown. Indeed, but I think that this is like a real opportunity to say, like, hey, when you're trying to do stuff on the cutting edge, when you're trying to make things safer for everybody, sometimes there are trade-offs that occur here. And as Meow said, I also agree. There's no like specific answer to this question. It's just like a trade-off that is present at all times. How do you ensure that new users who just want the execution are there, while also older users who maybe just want the steadiness and stability without getting exploited are also there? Okay, I think that's about maybe one other thing we can talk about on the product side. It's not in the slides here, Meow, but I know there's a lot of folks. Do you want to talk about this PPP thing? I don't know if that was you that put it up there.
Oh no. I'm just saying that I'm really excited that if we can get the dynamic slippage right and let everyone use it, right? That'll be huge, because slippage is like, especially now, because like users buy everything. They buy everything from Sol to meme coins, right? I'm saying, right? And it's a big variance, right? Buying stable coins, guys. Buying stable coins and buying meme coins are as different as it gets, right? Right? Yeah. Come on, seriously, right? Seriously, right? Seriously, right? And I don't actually think most users understand slippage, right? At all, right? And also with MEV on the rise, so it's actually really a problem. Okay, guys. Okay, let's do real talk. Okay, let's do real talk.
Real talk is boom. This is the real talk view.
Like Solana has a major MEV problem, like really major, because the cost of execution is low, right? That means that it doesn't take much for for someone to profit off sandwiching you. It just doesn't, right? Right? And so being able to kind of protect the user by having like reasonable slippage is actually very important, right? But then we cannot expect the user to go, okay, we are doing a stable coin swap. Let me go 0.1, right? But I'm doing a meme coin swap. Let me go like 2%, right? Right? That's not something that we can actually be able to do, right? We shouldn't in many ways, right?
It's a lot of cognitive load, especially for new users. Yeah.
Hey,
I really don't understand slippage.
I don't understand it either. Trust me, okay? Right? No, seriously. I have to go through like for example, for me to understand MEV fund run, I had to go through many examples and just walk through the math like one by one to kind of get it. Right? It's actually really kind of hard to understand, right? And then for us, I think the whole point is that we don't think the user should need to understand. So we try to do a lot to kind of remove all that things. And actually, one thing that we do actually want to do and start is to kind of make that accessible to partners too, right? Partners as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's what I try to do as well. Yeah.
I do want to ask about something somewhat adjacently related. So I think a lot of this, the fixes that are coming at our already DCA is up and working properly, and the fixes on the limit order side, both dynamic slippage as well as kind of limiting.
Limit order out. I mean, will take a while. So we're doing something in the meantime. Okay, we are first of all, we're doing this thing. We are going to prioritize the execution of the top 200 tokens. Okay, and then for the rest, we're gonna have some warning, right? Be like, hey, you are executing a token with not enough liquidity. We might not be able to do that well yet, things like that. So we're just going to be very transparent, with the users, about stuff. So and while we try to really optimize the execution for the top tokens first, and then ideally in a couple of weeks, we'll have a major. Ideally in a couple of weeks, we have a major. We have a major update for the for the limit order. All right, then we can start to do it again. But for now, I think we're gonna suck it up. We're not be like, hey guys, we can't do certain things that well right now. You know what I'm saying? So use the other thing first or something. Yeah.
Makes sense. I do want to. I know we need to go and talk about the JUP token and some of the things that are over there. But somebody asked about perps, and brought a question to my mind. For people who don't know, obviously the JLP, which is the liquidity token for the Jupiter Perpetuals product, which allows anybody to provide liquidity, which perpetual traders are trading against, includes WBTC, right? Wrapped Bitcoin as part of the basket. And we have somebody here who was kind of intimately involved in the creation of WBTC, of which there's been a little bit of controversy lately. So I'm sure that I personally want to know, so I'll ask this selfishly. What are your thoughts on the latest, on the WBTC situation?
Can you pull up my, can you pull up the thing I wrote as well?
Yes, let me do that. As I pull that up, do you want to just explain what is going on with WBTC real quick?
Sure. I think the WBTC has worked extremely. So first of all, I started WBTC with some friends while advising Kyber a few years ago, and obviously since then, I think the Big Go actually has a lot of did a really good job, right? On stuff, and I think anyway during the space. But anyway, Big Go is transferring custody, right, to a new joint venture. So one thing that happened in the space, right, was that they mentioned that Bit Global was gonna have 2 of the keys, right, and Big Go 1 of the key, right. Then so one of the very productive things that happened was that we actually pushed them really. I think the community kind of pushed them really hard, right, on a solution to that problem. And I think so as of during the call, it was mentioned that Big Global is going to have 2 of the keys, okay, which obviously 2 of the keys, which obviously kind of a no-go, right? I'm saying for a lot of people. So I think that was actually a really big conversation. And then but I think what is actually really good is that after the space, what was actually 1 second. Let me just pull something for you guys real quick. Is that
as he's pulling it up, people, if you want to go deeper into the WBTC, the space, it was a long one, so we're not going to have time to cover it all.
Actually, one thing that really happened later on is that I think Big Go just issued a statement, right, saying that actually the Big Global will not be holding the backup key, okay, but instead the backup key will be held by Big Go Singapore. So basically it will still remain under Big Go. So that I think that's actually a really big thing that happened from the call. Okay, because before the call, the Big Global, the new entity, was actually going to hold 2 of the keys. Okay, but now under this new thing that they just announced, it does look like actually Big Go is going to hold on to the 2 keys, right? Which crucially means that Big Global will not have the ability, to actually execute on anything, without Big Go, So that's actually something that is actually really important that just happened.
That's great. Does that create more faith on your end with WBTC? And I'll ask the hard question: are there any plans to change WBTC as
for me, big time, right? I think I want to share something, right? I think WBTC has long been, ever since we started it 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, we started WBTC 5 years ago, right? And it has been one of those things that has become crucially important for the whole DeFi space, right? Including Jupiter, right? But no one talks about it, no one understands it, right? Right. So it's actually really good. This happened, right? In some sense, right? I think, and there was a lot of FUD about the whole Big Global thing, and that's why we had the conversation, right? And actually, during the conversation, one of the things that I really pushed on extremely hard, right, was who owned the keys, and it did come out, right, that Big Global was holding 2 of the keys, right? And for me and for many others in the community, that was a no-go, right? Because, and even not making any judgment about Big Global, right? I'm saying just from the fact that I don't think community is going to be comfortable with a relatively new entity holding 2 keys. Make sense, right? So I feel like in this, I feel like after this current setup, but a long story short is that after the call, I think they went back and they regrouped. Right, and then they announced that Big Go, Big Go Singapore is actually going to be the one that actually secures the backup key, right? Not Big Global, right? So Big Global, according to this system, big global will not have any ability to actually do things independently, right? So for me, at least, that was a pretty big deal. To be clear, I still think that we need more alternatives, okay? Both custodial ones and decentralized ones, right? But to me, at least, this was a really, really important move. Yeah, for me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'll be honest. If they had not made this move, I'll be exit plan.
Were you going to take it out of the JLP pool? Would you have taken it out of the JLP pool?
I would have. If this change was not made, I would have taken it out. Yeah.
But now that the change is made, at least for the time being, something else might change in the future. But right now, the plan is to keep WBTC inside of the JLP pool. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I would still push out an alternative. I'm saying, and maybe have one alternative BTC. Right, I'm saying, in the system, right, to have more like so big WBTC is not such a big chunk of it. I'm saying, I think there needs to be like more less risk. Yeah. But I think but as of now, I think it does actually makes me feel better, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Good. There's a few other options, man. We could talk about that for another 2 hours, as I know your space went on yesterday. But we also want to talk about some other components of the Jupiverse, right? So we talked about Jupiter platform, the first kind of pillar of the Jupiverse. Maybe now we can transition and talk a little bit about the second pillar of the Jupiverse, if my slides work here, which is the JUP token itself. Somebody in the chat just said, just yapping, Jupiter should make their own version of WBTC. Easier said than done, I think. In any case, we were talking about keeping the main thing the main thing. So let's maybe we can reestablish some kind of foundation, especially for people that might be newer to the community here, around the JUP CAT PPP essay that you wrote a little while ago. So let me just pull this one up. And we can quickly kind of go through this. Yeah.
Anyway, we just wanna. I think what happened was that 2 weeks ago, we did a lot of stuff around the token, right? That's right. We communicated an important essay. We did DeFi's first ever transparency audit, right? And of course we did the supply reduction proposal, right? Right. So I think all three things happened like 2 weeks ago, right? And obviously we skipped last week's trade call, right? And then there was this like really big market conditions that happened. Right? Obviously, I mean, dude, last year was crazy, bro. Last year was crazy, right? It's like the whole I wanted to round up I wanted to do a big round up on what happened the previous week, but the markets went crazy. The markets went crazy, and the platform went down. So I think we had to just take a step back on stuff, right? Right? Yeah. But I think what I think we did here, but just to go through, just to recap what happened, right? For token thing, is that obviously I think we kind of explained how important it was for us to maintain the integrity of Jupiter, the token, right? Yep. Because I think one of the things that I think is very important in crypto, right, is this. It's like obviously as a team and as everyone, I think there's only we can't do too much about the price, right? I'm saying no, right? But I think what we can do a lot of, right? I think every project team should do that, right? Is to really take care of the token, right? In terms of especially in terms of the emissions, the sales, and everything, right? So I think that's actually really important. And then if it's going a bit more and stuff, I think the other thing that we actually really take care of, what we think is actually really important to take care of, is to give the community certainty, right? That the team is fully aligned, right? I'm saying with the community, Yeah, so I think that's actually very important for us. So I think and also obviously have more alignment, and also have more transparency, right? So I think that's actually something that I wrote in a lot of detail in this essay, right? And I hope that everyone can just go take a read. I think so I think so I think that's actually a really important essay for us. Yeah, so take a read. The other major thing that we did was the transparency audit, right? Can you put that real quick?
Yep. Transparency audit was quite impressive. Every token ever of JUP is basically trackable from Genesis, right?
Yeah, precisely. So I think we tracked every single token. We tracked every single token, right?
Every single JUP that left the Genesis. Yeah, every single JUP that left the Genesis wallet is we know where it is, basically, right?
Yeah, precisely. We know where it is and stuff. Yeah, we missed out 1.5, but anyway, so it's like 1.5 tokens. Yeah, but anyway,
literally 1.5 tokens.
What's that?
It's like it's literally 1.5 out of whatever 10 billion tokens. That's the degree of error. Pretty good precision. Yeah.
Anyway, we did a really major. We actually did a really major accounting here, right? On every single thing we went through everything, right, and everything. And then I think, and also for example, we realized that we shared what we use, shared in use and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think for example, we turned out that we allocated a pretty big chunk for liquidity provision, and turned out that we only need 2 or 3 of them, 2 or 3 million of them, right? So I think so we just did a lot of like we just went through every single thing, right? And dude, I'm telling you, bro, that exercise was so good, man. It was so good. I think everyone should do it, bro. I'm telling you, I think every single team should do it. Yeah.
Why do you think more teams don't do it? Just because it's time consuming?
Bro, is it crazy that we are probably the only one to do it ever?
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm wondering. Is like, what is because the incentive to do it?
Is it amazing that like we are the team? We are probably the first thing to do it ever. It's interesting, right?
I mean, I think there's a charitable explanation and there's a not so charitable explanation, right? So the charitable explanation is that it's a lot of work and some teams just don't understand the importance of token integrity and trust in the community, and for whatever reason, like it's just deprioritized. That's the charitable reason. The not so charitable reason is that people don't want to know like where every token has gone, right? Or they don't want to make it public where every single token has gone. But whatever the explanation is, I do think it is entirely unique within crypto, certainly in my experience.
You know what, bro? I'm telling you, like you saw the ritual thing that we did, right? Can you pull up real quick the ritual, the Jup research, the ritual, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had this like entire ritual that we do, right? You know what I'm saying, around like being extremely clear about where everything went, which wallets went where, everything, right? So and we did a lot of these things and stuff. But bro, I'm telling you, even I'm telling you, and we have a full team that tracks these tokens, right? Because I really, really care about it, right? But I'm telling you, even then, it's a pain in the ass. I'm not kidding, because so many things happen, right? Like, tokens go out for like some market making, wallet here, wallet there, and stuff, right? So I feel like it's actually I was like, wow, holy shit! Even for us when we track it so hard, right, and it's so difficult, right? I'm like, wow, holy shit! If you don't, I think if you don't, if you're a project and you care about this thing, dude, do early, man. Do it fast, man. Do it early and fast, right?
Yeah. Good hygiene starts at the very beginning. Look at this, like 6 decimals of precision, by the way, on each transfer. It's like it's the level of precision here is pretty insane. For anyone that has done like budgeting.
Actually, but also one thing I think a cash. Also, one thing that I think one thing is that I think maybe other people haven't done it before, right? Make sense? So I feel like maybe one thing that we could do as a community, right, is that okay, we should actually ask people to do this more often. Make sense? Right? So for us, for example, we are committing to a CAT pack, where we can't commit to 3 things, right? Like the first thing we commit to is that number one is that we will always have we do regular audits. Secondly, the second actually, can you go back to the essay real quick? Sorry. You might go back real quick.
Which essay?
The previous one.
Previous one. Cool. The TLDR? Here we go.
No, the other one, this one.
This one?
No, before that.
We're going through like 12 essays here, folks, so please have some patience on my browser.
Yeah, this is not a pumpy call, okay? This is a very boring call, okay? It's a very boring call, okay? Just to be very clear, it's a very boring
drop
call,
a little J for J if you're still with us. If you appreciate this kind of transparency and kind of frank and straight talk, drop a little J for J and then we'll know. If there's no J for J's, I still think it's important, even if no one likes it. It's still an important thing to do, just from a first principles perspective. But the chat, I think, agrees that this is an important thing to do.
Can you scroll on to the whole cat pack?
Where's the cat pack? It's at the end here, I think, right? Yeah, there it is. Cool.
Yeah. So do you mind zooming in a bit?
More?
So actually, one of the things that we do actually, we think this set of things that we think everyone should do. Okay, we think that there should be regular community audits, right? We think there should be 100% disclosure of token sales. Okay, meaning that if we sell a single dollar of JUP beyond what we already communicated, we should actually communicate this. We commit to this, right? Make sense? You do that,
yeah.
Okay? And we think, and if I sell a dollar of JUP, I'll tell everyone. I'm thinking, I'll do that. Okay, I'm committing to that, right? And And the third thing I'm committing to is that I'm committing to advance notice of token release. Basically, I think to be clear, there will be token releases, right? From the reserve, right? Make sense? But then what we'll do is that I think we will actually communicate that in advance, and then we also obviously communicate like also we always make sure that it's always in proportion to how much liquidity in the market. That's very important for us, because I feel like for a team like ours, right, we do actually need the ability to execute, on big plans, right? I mean, otherwise, what's the tokens for, right? The tokens is that you actually have to actually be able to use the tokens in a way that adds value, to the community and the team, right? And the whole ecosystem. Make sense, right?
You don't get value just sitting in the treasury. You don't get leverage out of it, right?
Yeah, precisely. It's our leverage, right? It's that we actually have to actually communicate very, very well what is it going to be used for, right? And fourth is that I think we'll always like label the wallets very clearly, such that all tokens can be tracked. Because one thing that I'm actually very happy with some projects that I'm part of is that there are these like big things that like they call these like ecosystem funds, but no one really knows. And then things just go on. So some projects have this thing called ecosystem fund, right? And it's really big. It's a really big chunk, right? It's like 20% of the 35%
right? At least.
And they just go out, right? I'm like, what is going on?
I think Julian had it right earlier. I tried to put it up.
That stuff annoys me, bro. Yeah.
People are just doing kind of random stuff out there. But as Julian pointed out, this is part of the beauty of the blockchain stuff. It doesn't guarantee transparency, but if you are willing to commit to transparency, it can kind of further that as a tool.
Yeah, but bro, I'm telling you, man, it's like I think if we actually care about transparency as a community, right? We need to start asking for it. You know what I mean?
I think that's a message out to the Catdets more than anything else. But I think this is pretty interesting. Is there any token release that's in mind right now? Speaking of advanced notice, anything happening in the next few months?
Not immediately. Not immediately. Yeah, but I think we do have this like really big marked out core strategic reserve, right? And then saying, that will use it. Yeah, we'll use it. Yeah, but as of now, no. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And actually, all right. So this is
and number 5 is obviously there's a community allocated token, right? I'm saying, yeah. And obviously we also have the whole CEF thing as well. Yeah, just read it. I think if you are I would encourage like you to read through the essay. That this essay. I think there's a lot of information here about stuff.
It's a lot of There's some there's some bars in here. Like building a skyscraper on a giant pile of tofu is a bar.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, and the last thing that happened last week was we actually did we did the token reduction supply vote, right? And obviously that vote passed. That vote concluded at a very interesting timing for the market, right? And so I think so we didn't really get a chance to properly announce it. Yeah, but the token passed. So we'll be executing the burn at some point over 6 months, right? It won't happen immediately, right? But over 6 months, Yeah. So I think so we'll do that at some point. Yeah. And then the other major thing is also around the unclaimed tokens. So we have to decide what to do on that at some point as well. Yeah. But I think what we'll do is that for those two things, we won't rush into it. We will rush into it. We'll take our time there. And I think there are some other important things to do around there are some other crucial like community stuff to do as well, and product stuff to do, and then we'll get to it. Yeah.
Somebody asked, BTFD asked, why burn over 6 months? Why not just burn it all at once? What's the benefit?
There's actually one major reason. Okay, because number one, we don't actually want very spiky emotions. We don't really want because I think I personally had very bad experiences with a large burn at once. There tends to be an extremely large number of expectations around the burn, right? And I don't think that's too healthy. Because there's this very, very bad correlation about people associating burn and token price. Again, this burn is not for the token price. This burn is actually to make sure that number one, I think, is to make sure that we go through the whole tokenomics as a community, think through what is actually happening in the community, and we did that. Right, if you look at the proposal, you can see that we actually laid out everything in detail, right? And we also laid out exactly kind of like what the updated numbers can look like. Make sense, right? And then the other thing is that there's this market perception that burn equals pump, and then we don't want that. We really don't want that. I think we don't want that. We don't want that. Yeah, we think
this is a long-term game. Like you don't want to just take advantage of like short-term little like tricks or like gimmicks basically to talk.
Yeah, precisely. Right? So I don't think burn price. I think what the burn is good for as well is to just number one, everyone now understands the token the tokenomics much better now, right? Mm-hmm. And the second thing the second thing here I think after the burn, I do actually think that we're going to have a healthier. We're going to cut a lot of the fat away, right? I do actually, for example, on the team allocation part, I do think there's curb your fat. I'm saying, right, that we don't need, right? As well as the community side, there's curb the fat that we don't need, right? So I think after this cut, I think it's actually much leaner, Yeah, so I feel very happy about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. And this was, I think, the by far the largest ever kind of consensus on a proposal. I think it's something like 95% of the community was in favor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So there it goes through. Okay, so that's the kind of fundamentals on the kind of, as a reminder to everyone, we're going through the Jupiverse right now. We talked about the Jupiter platform. This was all around the JUP token and what's been happening there recently. Obviously, removing 30% is a pretty big deal happening over the next 6 months. Fully audited and so forth. Should we move into the JUP community? Yeah.
Let's do JUP community. Let's go.
Let's go. This is the most, I mean, I'm biased, but this is my favorite part of the thing. Because there are some substantial changes that are coming, right? People would have seen some of the platform stuff on Twitter. They maybe saw the token stuff. You've been coming to these calls. But what we're about to talk about now is net new. This is not stuff that I think has been publicly communicated.
Actually, sorry. One thing to mention about the whole retrocreation thing is that I was actually, I mean, I actually been reading a lot of like Reddit and everything and stuff. I think one of the concerns that people do have is around the tokens to supply. So I think this was actually a pretty big move to also make sure that, I mean, it is part of the whole alignment thing, right? Is that I feel like you can never, I feel like as a community and stuff, we can never be 100% aligned. There's no such thing, right? But I think just taking care of the concerns for people, I think that's actually really important, and that's what I try to do, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be responsive to the community. Speaking of the community, let's talk about JUP community. I think there's 3 topics we want to hit here. Let's maybe start with.
Can you pull up the thing real quick? The image real quick. Sorry.
Which image?
The JUP image.
Oh, the JUP image. Yeah, is that in the where? Let me just find that real quick.
I have to put that. So it's a favorite image.
It's your favorite image. Yes. Let me just pull it up here. Done. Just put this here. Can I just put this on? Why is this not working? There we go. This image right here, right?
Was that?
Yep. This image right here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. This is the best thing ever.
So for anyone that doesn't know, the JUP, there's multiple stakeholders here. That's the kind of key point of the image. It's also the part of the unofficial Cadet theme song as well. Okay, so this is JUP, the work groups, the Catdets, users, the DAO, and the team all coming together to create the JUP community, diverse stakeholders. Yes. And maybe the first thing that we can talk about from a JUP perspective is the LFG Launchpad, and maybe do a little bit of a retrospective. That was an experiment to begin with, and I think that there's some like kind of key learnings and so forth. Do you want to talk through that right now?
I mean, this really deserves a much longer essay.
Shout out, Kirk. Yeah, let me know. My main job, clicking buttons. That's what I'm primarily here for.
And looking cute, bro. And looking cute.
Should I undo the?
What wink is that, bro? What wink is that?
That's amazing. After dark. That's for after the call. Anyway.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, by the way, guys, I think the one thing that was actually awesome to me to see was actually the fact that everyone's showing up and helping us with the whole part. That was actually amazing for me. Yeah.
Community as immune system, I think, is like severely underdeveloped by most teams, that they don't really understand how to do that.
Well, okay.
Anyway, LFG.
It's happening. It will happen. Okay, it will happen.
I've been hearing that a lot. Anyway.
I've been busy, bro. I've been busy.
Oh, I've been too busy to do push-ups. Yeah, I see you do fucking handstand.
No, I'll do. I'll do. Okay, but okay. So okay, like LFG. Okay.
Let's talk about LFG.
LFG started obviously with we have been working on module. We have been working on the LFG experiment for a while, right? You know, and this isn't an essay. But I think what I would say here is that I think that it is actually it's actually really difficult. I think, you know, for the I think LFG has actually been amazing in terms of like the community participation, right? Getting community out to support a project. You know, I think that part has actually worked out amazingly so far, right? I think what actually has been quite difficult for LFG is that it's actually quite. So one of the hypotheses for LFG, right, was that I think we can actually really help to kind of help the project, like, you know, help the project, in the sense that help projects grow the community and awareness, right? I think one thing that I found is that I think it doesn't always translate, right? You know, sometimes it translates. Like for in Sanctum's case, I think it translated pretty well. I think a lot of Jupiter users went out to become Sanctum users, right? You know, right? But most of the time, I think, and D-Bridge, I think as well. But I think most of the time, I think it doesn't translate right that well. You know, I think, and then the other thing that's hard to translate is also around the token performance, right? You know, it's like having a big community supporting the project doesn't always translate to the token doing well, right? That's the second thing. That's the second thing, right? And thirdly is that I think in this very, very tough market for new tokens, right? It's also really hard to actually kind of like be able to affirmatively, right? You know, say a token to kind of like help a token do well per se, right? You know, liquidity is so thin these days, right? So I think one of the things that I think some of the things that I do think is that we actually probably have to we probably have to, I think so. LFG has as a DAO voting thing. So LFG started out by trying to be the first decentralized launchpad. Right, where the community is involved in the entire process, right, of like betting, thinking, and voting, right, and then after voting, helping the project launch, right. So I feel like that's something that I think LFG have done. I think we did really well in terms of like implementing their process. You know, I think the question for us becomes like, hey, you know what, like does it make sense for us as a community, you know, to continue working on doing this very intense process, you know, or does it make sense to actually, or given these experiments that we have done, or does it make more sense to transit LFG into a more like decentralized and permissionless process? Sorry, not a more permissionless process, you know? Yeah, so that is the one thing that I think we are currently thinking through right now, you know? Yep. And then I think
how much of that is because of like the meta changing around tokens, you think, on Solana? Obviously, when LFG was kind of initially conceived, let's call it 6 months ago, there were a lot of new tokens, but we weren't at the 20,000 new tokens a day kind of level yet.
But how much? I think a lot of things that it's not just about Solana, by the way. I think it's just in general, right? It's like you see even the L1s, like all the L1s. I mean, you saw the chart of Binance, right? You know,
my favorite chart in crypto. Yeah.
No, what is crazy about think about everything, right? Is that we have teams that spend practically all their time and effort, literally, right, trying to get on Binance. Right, literally. Like one of the things I find very disappointing, right, about new tokens in this space, right, is how much effort they spend to try to list on Binance, right? You know, versus building community, right? No, seriously, think about it, right? Like, I think that's actually a really big problem, right? Because in the sense that, so it's not just a Solana thing or whatever. It's just that in general, no, don't pull out, please don't pull out.
Okay.
Yeah, don't pull out. But it's okay. But I think in general, I think we are in a situation whereby like it's actually really hard for projects, right? You know, to actually to build community and get liquidity. Yeah. And so every project needs to go in the market with an extremely clear mind and clear plan. You know, how they're gonna build their base, you know? Yeah.
So then I guess the question just being asked over here by Brandon as well. So are we doing away with the LFG as a highly exclusive permissioned launchpad?
this is a question that we'll be answering as a community over the next few weeks. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I think from what it seems like to me, at least, is that there's increasing desire both from like the community and from just like the general market for permissionless kind of tokens getting launched in kind of different fashions and ways. And so I think concretely that probably means that there's not going to be an LFG candidate vote this week, for example. Correct?
Yeah, until we figure out. Yep, for sure.
Okay. So I guess that there's some time, but we got to figure out what happens. The community is going to have to give some feedback as well as we go through it. But the LFG, nice answer, community decides. But the LFG Launchpad in its current form will probably not exist, and there's going to be some kind of evolution to it. What exactly that evolution looks like?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there needs to be some evolution to it, whereby I think we allow projects to launch much more freely, right, on Jupiter, right? But at the same time letting the community play a certain role, in the process. I feel like that's actually a pretty important thing to do, because right now the problem is that we have too few projects launching on LFG, right, and too high expectations for them.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Right. As I say again, okay, so we say this, right, but it's actually very difficult. It's actually very difficult to do. Right, as a community, right, about like, I mean, we do actually a bit, but I think we do actually choose it extremely carefully as a project, as a community, and everything and stuff. We do actually do that, right? Yeah, we do actually do a lot of that as a project, as a community. We go through this proposal thing, introduction thing. We do this thing where we do the voting thing and do a promotion thing. We do a lot for the project. I'll say one thing. I will say that there's no launchpad in the history of launchpads or anywhere. Not even crypto. Let's go way fucking back. Okay, no one does that. All right, no one spend the same amount of effort and love, for projects. I'm saying, and by the way, and in the decentralized way, right? No one does.
Yeah.
No one does that, right? Like, no one does that ever, right? So I feel like as a community, both from a team point of view, the CWG point of view, and the community point of view, we do a lot, a fuck ton for it, right? Seriously, we do, right? We do, and I think. But I think we end up a situation whereby like so I feel extremely good about what we did for the project, right? But at the same time, I feel like we end up we are in the situation now whereby there are too little launches and too high expectations, right? It's actually not great. You know what I'm saying, right? So I think that's actually pretty important. You know what I'm saying, so I think then that process needs to change. Yeah, so I think we have to change the process. Yeah,
I think it's an interesting benefit of kind of framing everything as an experiment, right? It's like, it's not like, hey, this is the thing and now the product is perfect and we're never changing. It's like, hey, okay, well, we've done it. We've learned, having done a few launches, and now maybe some things need to change. The obvious question comes up here. I agree with Meow, no one ever, except for elections and countries. The obvious question is, what about D-Bridge? D-Bridge already slated to go onto the LFG.
No. D-Bridge is no. It's a different thing altogether. D-Bridge is done. We're going to support D-Bridge to the full law. D-Bridge is amazing. D-Bridge is an amazing project. We're going to support them technically, and we'll be working with them a lot in their launch. It's going to be great.
Yep. Cool. So for anyone who is wondering what's going to happen with D-Bridge, D-Bridge will still launch as expected. It'll be after the D-Bridge launch that some new changes might take place here. And I can already see a bunch of like cool...
There's nothing going on at all. I think there's nothing changes at all for now. It's more like, I think we are going to not... I think the main thing is that we're going to focus on evolving the launchpad process. Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of people who already have some ideas coming in here. I think just jump into the Jupiter Discord, which is discord.gg/Jup, I think, and people can actually start to talk about this more.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually Brandon gets it really well, right? It's like no one can ensure success of the token, right? And putting the entire resource of Jup and stuff and the brand behind a token is probably, again, it's actually not good for the project as well, right? Because I think there's an elevated sense of expectation.
Pressure,
yeah. I think it's actually really difficult. I think so. I think it's actually much more organic, much better to have a. So I think we are probably going to switch to a model. Yes, D-Bridge is definitely happening.
We are going to do D-Bridge on LFG. I shouldn't say we. Jupiter's definitely going to do D-Bridge.
Right? No, 100%. D-Bridge is good. The launch is going to happen soon. Yeah.
And then instead of LFG is ending, I'd say LFG is evolving, is my sense of things, right? Like there will be something around creation of tokens. What exactly that looks like right now, still figuring it out. Like I said, D-Bridge is fucking fire as well. Okay. Anything else?
To be clear, D-Bridge is great. Yes, we're going to have to evolve LFG. Yes, I think we did a large number of experiments and stuff. We did a large number of experiments. I think some things worked out extremely well. I think one thing that worked out extremely well was how enthusiastic the community is about projects, man. Fucking amazing. Like, guys, I'm telling you, man, like, people really love like projects, right? And actually, one thing we'll cover is a PPP token list that Wick and Julian and Rolex have been working on, right? That's actually a great. Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent.
Easy.
So somebody said I'd like a whole chat on LFG. I have a strong feeling that there will be full chats on LFG coming up, folks.
Yes, so we'll do a full chat on LFG. Yeah, but I think yes, we'll do a full chat on LFG. We'll do a full chat on Launchpads. Obviously the last obviously the last
the last one.
Sorry, someone did. So I think over here, right? Is that I don't think people have had Launchpad because Launchpad, the user protocol. So I mean that, but bro, about Legend, that is the thing, right? Is that I feel like there's only so much we as a project can do, right? I'm saying no, there's only so much we as a team, as a project, and as a community can do for a token, right? I'm saying no, right? Anything, right? And I feel like there needs to be a bit more distance between between I think that but to be clear, I want to be very clear on something here, right? I'm very happy that we support the Sanctum, as a project. I stand by FP. I think it's amazing. I think he made a couple of decisions. I think that were honestly from the fucking goodness of his heart, right? He really believed in the system. You know what I'm saying, right?
He's an earnest man. That is the truth. He is himself a very earnest man. Jokes aside.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, I think but I think the root of the thing was what I said earlier, right? Too little launches, too high expectations. Right? You know what I'm saying? I think that's actually the root thing to fix for LFG, I think. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. So community, this is why it's so cool to have a community of hundreds of thousands of people watching this right now. Let us know the ideas. What do you think should happen next? I know the CWG is going to be talking about this quite a bit, obviously. People are thinking about it. A lot of other things are going to be happening there. Maybe the second thing we can talk about, speaking of the CWG and speaking of the JUP community, next step for working groups. So what's the current thinking on working groups?
Oh, wow. Okay. That was a good conversation with RBG. Yeah. I think anyway for I mean, as I mentioned several times, we are working on a launchpad. Not really launchpad, more a way for people to launch tokens and to create more token tools, right? Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. So Wick mentioned lower launch FTV. I mean that's actually one of the things that I don't think I think it's actually really important. But it's not our job, right? It gets really awkward if Jup gets to the point that starts to go. I mean, Binance does that, right? Binance actually makes sure that annual launch the thing have a low FTV. I'm saying, right? I think that is actually getting into a territory that I think I'm personally not very interested. I'm not very comfortable doing. I'm actually much more interested in creating a product, that allow people to. I'm actually much more interested in building a product that allows people to launch easily, right? And then we as a community decide what to support. That makes sense. I feel like that flow makes a lot more sense, right? I'm saying, right? The community that everyone launches according to whatever whatever thing they want to do, and then the community decide to support. And Wick, think about it, right? Wick, think about it, right? That is true, right? But the community can choose not to support them, right? You know what I mean? Right. So it's up to the community to choose to support.
It's opt-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay,
just being I think so. So Ben is I think so. I think sorry, let me just show you quick. So Ben is I think so. I'm actually very proud of LFG. Okay, I think we've done a really great experiment. I think we worked really hard on the first decentralized launchpad. I think we actually did really well in terms of activity and community, getting great projects on and everything, right? I think the next step is but the formula is not correct, right? The formula is not quite right yet. Okay, So can we evolve that? Can we evolve this? Can we evolve it? Right? That's the question. Can we evolve it? Right? So that's my main thing. Yeah, and I want to evolve it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So just to summarize there, LFG not ending, it is evolving and probably going in more permissionless direction. What that looks like, we need your help to figure out, or Jupiter team needs your help to figure out. Okay, being cognizant of time, let's also talk a little bit around.
One thing that we are definitely doing is also we want to actually build a So one thing that we are definitely doing as well is that we do actually want to build a new launch meta, for tokens, whereby it's more aligned. Right, whereby the whole thing from the whole liquidity initialization to the team is actually more aligned. It's taking a while to put together because we have so many things to do, right? But I do actually kind of like work on stuff now. Yeah,
a lot of energy around LFG stuff. That is for sure.
I mean that's the other. That's actually the other issue, right? With LFG, right? Is that like that's the other issue of RG, is that we do a lot of work. I'm saying for what might not be we do a lot of work and stuff for what might not be a large enough number of returns, right, for the participants in the community. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So ideally, again, what we can do is to actually greatly increase the number of projects that launch. You know what I'm saying? And kind of lower the work we do for each one. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, third time's the charm. Should we talk about this one? Is pretty funny.
I really love the guy, man. It's just hard. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's talk about work groups. Obviously, working groups are a key part of the JUP community. They were a big part of the vision of the DAO. I think there's been at this point something like 5 work groups that have been approved by vote, including 3 trial work groups. And so I think there's probably some. Well, let me just ask you straight up: what is working about the work groups, and what is not working about the work groups that might need to?
Sorry, just want to share 2 things real quick here. Is that I think so. I'm really happy to have this conversation, right? As I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is not a pumpy conversation, but I'm really happy that everyone's here to. I'm actually really happy.
Frank talk.
Yeah. Cash, I'm actually really happy reading comments. By the way, it feels like everyone kind of like have the same. We have been thinking on the same lines as a community. Right, and I'm saying, so it's just good to just talk about it and just it's really good to just like see everyone go stuff. One last thing about Launchpad is that yes, I actually think so. I think trying to remove the downside doesn't make sense. I mean, we're trading, right? It's a world of trading, and I feel like the whole point is not to try to create something that has that is Kimmy doesn't, right? But more like how do we kind of have a healthier, more long-term aligned meta, for coins. Launchers. I think that's actually the main thing. Yes, actually we are making a lot of good progress on this thing. But getting it approved and stuff and everything has been a fucking pain. Yeah, but we'll get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody knows Tim Cook, drop me a line. Okay. So, should we talk about working groups?
Yes. Let's talk working groups. Let's go. Yep.
Okay. Cool. So. I love it. To be
Yeah, we're gonna have to do one final work on the whole LFG thing. Is that we're gonna have to do one major iteration, one major round iteration. Yeah.
Okay. Working groups. Start off. It's a key part of the kind of DAO. It's a key part of the way that the community can kind of contribute back. There have been a lot of proposals for working groups in the Jup research forums. Not all of them have gone through. How do you think about work groups going forward?
I fucking love work groups, man. Like work groups are the most like fucking amazing thing ever. I really fucking no, I'm not trying to change the topic, bro. It's just that I think I'm not trying to change the topic, bro. It's like it's just that I think there's just like so much things to think about in thing, right? About everything. Yeah, but for LFG and stuff. But no, I fucking love work groups. I mean, this is the work group, right? This wouldn't have happened. There's no work group.
Another work group. Shout out to Uplink, everybody on it.
What's that saying?
I said shout out to Uplink, to Seb and Srijani and OG
everyone,
Clouds and Pedro and everybody. Yeah.
WG is obviously extremely core as well to the whole process as well, right? And everything is like it's so great, so good work groups. Yeah, I think so. I think the work group model has been pretty amazing. I'm really happy that we had the trial work groups as well, right? So a quick update here is that I think the Reddit working group and the web working group will not be they will not be going for the full trial. The
They will not be going for a full 1 year term, you mean?
Yes, they're not going for
They will not be continuing.
Yeah. So they'll not be. Which I think, but obviously both really. But obviously I think for the Reddit work group, amazing. Like, I mean, Weird City basically got already started, man. I mean, and it's a thriving thing right now, and he did a lot of really great work there, right? You know, and I think it's actually awesome that I think we will, and then now I think the Reddit work group is actually in a really good place to actually be taken apart by to be for some others to actually take ownership of that, you know, and do more stuff there, right? Yeah. And then the second, and then the working group, and so they also did a lot of really good stuff, really good work in terms of like upgrading the station and getting a JUP started, you know, as well. So those two are actually awesome. Yeah.
If we're in the spirit of Frank talk, though, I'll say this.
It?
I said if we're doing Frank talk, I'll say this here. It seems to me that there are a lot more people that want to be contributing, either joining working groups or starting their own working groups, than there are actual working groups getting started. There's something about the full DAO process that I don't know if it's like it's slowing things down or it's difficult to slot in across the other major proposals that are happening or the LFG votes that are happening and so on and so forth. So from my perspective, like a key kind of improvement area here is how do we get more work groups out there experimenting faster on a trial basis? How do you think about the process of work groups going forward? Of work group formation?
First of all, I do actually think it's actually really important for people to go through the DAO process. You know, I think it's really important to the process. I feel like one of the things that people can't get used to is the idea of working in public, right? You know, seriously, like working in public is a completely different beast. And I think one thing that is actually really, really important is that even though it's slower and trickier, but being able to go to the public and say, this is what I do, these are the resources that I need, right? It's actually a really important process, right, to do. So I think that's actually really important. At the same time, I do actually think that I do actually think that it's actually important to allow people to start experimenting easily, right? I'm saying,
yeah.
So next week's vote, right, will be all about two things. Okay, sex. You're right. You have to be, man. You have to be, you know, right? And by the way, I think one of the reasons why the Reddit working group didn't continue is also because I think Weird City, he while being extremely good at being Reddit, right? He also had a lot of like reservations around like working in the public way, right? You know, and working in such a public way, right? It's just something that I think even if someone is very, very good at that job, you know, saying they might not actually be so comfortable, you know, with the whole public process of that. Right?
It can be painful, quite frankly. Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
What's that, sorry?
I said it can be painful at times, right? People are, not happy with the work that you're doing or whatever else. Everyone's got an opinion.
Dude, I work in public, man. Dude, I work in public, man. It's like, you know, I work in public, you know, right? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, there you go, right? And there you go. So I think I need back to the point. Back to the point, right? It's like back to the point. Sorry, I have to do this. Yeah. Yes, people love you.
People Sax loves me, and I love him right back.
All right, but to the point, right? I think Sax and Wick, for example, right? They've been doing an amazing job. I think everyone in the community sees the work they do, right? Yeah. So I think being able to kind of like do work in public, is actually really, really important. You know what I'm saying? Really, really important to do in public, right? And also kind of like have your. I mean, it sucks to say this and stuff, but your work needs to be public. You know, right? Otherwise, people can't see that, right? That's actually one major reason as well. You know, yeah, like people can't see that as well. Yeah, you know, yeah. So that's
how do you think about new work groups coming forward in the future?
So that's the thing that CWG will be talking a lot more. So I think that's actually the thing that might actually happen, right? Is I think the CWG is going to request for we're gonna have a process for the CWG to actually allow a lot more work groups to start forming. It's more easily, you know, via a more like simple system whereby, okay, for example, if the CWG and other work groups think that a group of people is worth investing in, right, then they can do a small grant, right, without going through in the transparent way, without going through a DAO, right? So this actually allow work groups to form much easier, right, and then give them a chance to actually start showing their work. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of like the CWG and the uplink, right? I'm saying, I knew you guys, I think I knew you guys through the I knew you through the amazing ecosystem call. By the way, guys, for anyone who don't know this, Cash Run's probably one of the best ecosystem calls, right? Apart from this one, for the Solana one, and that's how I know him, right? But it's through that work that I got impressed by. It's true that guys, think like it's through the work that Cash did in the Solana ecosystem, right? That I actually got to know him. Make sense, right? And I could, and then we seeded the funds for the uplink work group to get started for a few months, right? And does it make sense to do things? And same thing with LFG, right? I mean, obviously Slot and Slap and Kimbo has been around for a long time, and obviously Durden, right? So that's actually why I had confidence to seed them as well, right? So in some sense, that's why it worked out. That's why it worked out well, because of the initial period where they can work the community, and then things worked out. So I feel like that's actually one thing that we are doing. We want to do, right? We want to actually have a situation where the CWG and other work groups can actually help other projects grow. Right?
I think it's
from a run. Sorry.
I think it's really useful. One of the things that I saw with Uplink ourselves, right? We got this kind of like test budget from the team, which is very gracious at the time. And then as a result, we were able to generate enough kind of output that by the time it came to the DAO vote, it was clear. I mean, I'm biased, but I think it was clear the value that we were creating. Similar with CWG, by the time they came to the vote, they already had a bit of a track record. It is hard, I think, to get approved by the entire DAO, who understandably come with a very skeptical eye for other people in the DAO at times, to say like, hey, just kind of trust me, bro. That's a little bit of what the process has been like in the past. Like, trust me, I've done good things in the past. I'll do good things again. And it was difficult to kind of go through the DAO process here. But now if there's an opportunity,
just for one cycle though, right? No, just for a trial cycle, no.
Just for the trial cycle. But I think what is cool about a new mechanic that focuses on getting more working groups started through small grants, so they can have it, whatever it is, 4 weeks, 2 months, to just build up a little bit of proof of work. It makes it much easier for the rest of the DAO to understand and trust that, okay, these people are capable and competent and so forth. And I think like Wake and Sacks are like a great example of Jup and Juice. Jup and Juice is awesome. Everyone should go check it out. It's a lot of fun. They have great guests, great energy.
Actually, I keep telling you that we need to support that stuff much more as well. And then just support the Jup and Juice much more.
Yeah.
You know
but my point is, it's much easier now that they've done a bunch of episodes and you can see that they're putting in the work and they have the ability. It's now much easier for everybody to kind of support, to get behind them and rally and support them, right? And I think that is something I'm really excited about, because I want to see, dozens of working groups. Right now we have whatever.
Me too. I don't want to see that, right? Actually, that's the reason why we did actually fund the work group with 10 million USDC, right? Not to spend it recklessly, but more like there's actually budget there, right? To actually execute on things. You know what I'm saying? Right? But guys, I feel like we don't actually do things in a random way. Okay, we do things in a way that okay. The reason is because Cam Matthew. The reason is because we actually want to keep work groups small and tight. Okay. Work groups are not meant to blow up into giant companies, okay, right? They're meant to be a small group of people that work very well together and create like immense value for the Jupiter ecosystem. I'm saying, right, right? Like again, this call is a good example, right? I'm telling you, guys, I don't know how to do my job without uplink. Right, it's just not humanly possible. Okay,
I think that there's some value. You're being a little bit too self-deprecating there.
What's that?
I said you're being a little too self-deprecating there. I think you.
No. I'm not. I'm very serious here, because we have a really big vision, right, for how the size of the community will run, right? I'm saying, right. So actually, it actually goes. What is happening now is that we want to create a system, right? But Cash, the one thing that I disagree with you on is this, right? I think that we couldn't have done the grant system without doing the trial thing first. I'm saying I actually think that the process is actually correct, what I'm saying? Right. I think it was actually correct. Yeah. I think that.
Yeah, I think that as always, there's trade-offs to it, and I think that trade-off was much more in like how do we make it as inclusive to the DAO, keep them as actively engaged as possible.
Some guy is fighting me. Sorry, I need to tell you. Either we did not dump 26 million meme coins, right? Look, please take it back right now, okay? I'm sick and tired of this shit, okay? And all right, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Now, we did not do it, okay? They had disputed many times. It was a mislabel as so scan. It was one of the people who had used our API at the data. Okay, enough of this scandal. Enough, no more. Okay, enough. Thank you. Yeah.
Drop the mic on him. What was I saying? Yeah, I think that it was an important kind of like process, and it's always easy to see things in reverse, but I agree that it was useful to get to this point. But I think now going forward, there's just so many people that have so many more ideas. Like if you just look at the Jup Research Forum, and folks who are watching this call, I encourage you to check that at least once a week to see the new posts that are out there. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of energy and there's a lot of talent in the Jupiter community, and now it's just about how do we connect that talent.
Guys, I'm telling you, man.
How do we elevate it? Right, that's the key thing with the new workgroup process, I think.
Actually, over here, I know this call is related and stuff, but I want to share I want to share something I wrote like way back. Okay. Cash, can you I send you a link. Can you pull this up real quick? I really want to read this. Yeah.
Yes. Let me pull it up. One of my deepest core beliefs. Oh, there we go.
Hey, BDEX23, okay? No, again, this is not us, okay? Someone that used our API, right? So the meme coins, okay? Good. Anyway, it's actually really important. Please ask your favorite influencer, okay? Please ask your favorite influencer, right? To review that, because all your favorite influencer that you read this from is being extremely irresponsible. Your favorite influencer spread fake news. He probably knew the news by now and he didn't reboot it, okay? Right? So go and tell your favorite influencer to fuck off, okay? All right, let's go. Sorry. Let's go.
It's good. I take it. This is the post.
Yes, I love meme coins. I got baited.
You did it. They're nerd sniping right now.
They baited me. That's so funny. Yeah.
They know what they're doing. The chat. I
got baited. Sorry, let's go on. Yeah. But back to the whole workgroup thing. Guys, read this thing, okay? So one of the reasons why I think we are doing workgroups is so important, because I think there's actually a lot of talent in the community, right? That we can conceive of. Okay. And the traditional kind of team structure, right, is actually not too great. Right? I'm saying for working with the teams, with the community, right? So I think one of the things that we really want to get right, and Cash, I'm so excited for the next phase of work groups. Okay,
Me too.
I'm so excited for group. Right? I think we're gonna find a way of like really empowering and really empowering of like all the community to empower other people, right? I'm saying, and that's what I'm really excited about. Yeah. Yep.
Likewise, I think there's gonna be a lot of fun things happening. So for everyone who's watching this right now, if you haven't already, if you have an idea for a work group, now's a great time to post that onto the Jup Research Forum. Start identifying other collaborators and allies who might be able to help you out with it. Give feedback on other work group proposals that are out there and help make them better. I know there's a lot of people that want to come in. And shout out to my guy.
Okay, I love Justy, by the way. Justy, guys, everyone follow Justy, okay? Everyone search for Justy.so on Twitter and follow him, okay? He does the best summaries, the best content, and the best everything. Yeah, I know he's the best. Yeah,
Jussy's great. Let me give a special shout out to Fabiano.
Thanks for everything you do. Yeah, what's that?
Justy is fantastic. Fabiano is also on the call. Nix has been on the call. There's a few great people in the chat, I gotta say, that people should check out. Okay, so that is on the work groups. Let's see. That I think takes us to the last piece here. So bottom line here, LFG is evolving into be something more permissionless that the community will have input on. The work groups are going to be starting with more small grants so we can get more work group experiments out there and then put those in front of the DAO vote. And then the third kind of piece of the JUP community update here is around the crucial role of Catdets. Meow, what can you say about the Catdets?
Can you pull up the thing that actually Julian tweet, right? So actually one thing that's actually pretty one thing that's actually pretty Oh, sorry. I said I might have misunderstood Badex. Oh, sorry, Badex. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Badex is solid.
Sorry, Badex. I'm so sorry. I love you. Sorry, and I love you now. So sorry. I just got. Yeah, sorry about that.
You're too much of a sweetie pie, Meow. you get angry and you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I fucked up.
Stop slandering people, Meow. Look at this. Those who live in glass houses.
If I say something wrong, I say sorry.
That is the key.
That's what I asked for. Right? Yeah.
So we have Julian's post here about Catdets and how they're a pillar. For those who don't know, Julian is the lead of the Catdets working group, which is on a trial, and I think is probably going to go up for a vote pretty soon. What did he have to say about Catdets over here?
No, I feel like one thing is actually really important here is that like they actually do a lot in terms of like pushing a culture and setting very clear standards for being what it means to be a core community member, right? And also thinking through about like I'm telling you, maintaining the culture is actually really hard. For a big Discord, like really hard, right? I think Cash, you might like this. One thing that I do say quite a lot of this, right? It's like, guys, we're in crypto, right? Everything is fake, right? Tokens are fake, and tokens are fake, and then like like people are fake, wallets are fake, accounts are fake, everything is fake, right? But guys, do you know what cannot be seabird and cannot be fake? Effort. You cannot fake effort. I'm not kidding, right? You cannot fake effort. I feel like that's actually one thing that's actually really powerful, right? And I think that that's actually which is really important because we want to build a core. We need to build a core set of community members that that really help out in the Discord, help out new members, help new users, and help everyone do stuff, right? And also the other thing that we do is that also this is like PPP PPP token list that they're also working on as well, right? To help help highlight solid PPP communities. They're also helping to the token list as well. It's actually amazing because they're actually doing an amazing job with the token list, right? And then and Julian also wrote a bot to allow people to actually write appreciation to each other. And I'm saying it's actually really great as well, right? They actually wrote a bot. So what's going on?
I said, yeah, these are some of the latest appreciations you can see just in the last few hours.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Nice. It's good.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. What's that?
I said it's the PPP kind of mindset, right? Making sure that people who are doing good work get recognized, making sure that everyone's feeling kind of welcome, can kind of take things seriously, and then also very much contributing to Jupiter as a platform as well with the PPP token list.
Yeah. In fact, we are gonna. In fact, I did the airdrop experiment thing, right? At some point. So the goal of that is to actually put together a list of airdrop participants, right? So that and then the cadet will help out that as well. So I feel like there's a very large number of things that cannot be replaced by robots, right? And AI. Like good content cannot be, like really genuine content cannot be done by AI, right? Like the effort of going through projects and understanding which communities are real cannot be faked, right? So and also like showing appreciation that can be faked as well. So I feel like that's actually something that I think has done really well, by the Cadet work group. And I look forward to working with them on a lot of things to come. Yep.
Excellent. Is there a timetable for their full vote? Do we know yet when that's going to happen?
After breakpoint.
Yeah. Gotcha.
After
okay.
breakpoint.
Through there. Excellent. So I think that covers the 3 hit things that we wanted to hit over on that side around the JUP community. JUP, folks, not JUP. JUP. Jupiter United Planet. Anything else to say here on the JUP stuff before we start to wrap up, Meow?
Nothing. I'm done. The JUP thing. I think yes, running out of time. Right. Yeah. So I just say that I think I think the JUP community is I feel like the whole point here is to create different community. I'm saying one that is like really rooted in a lot more like transparency and and communication. right? And the work groups have been fucking amazing. I love Jupe and Juice, what they're doing. I'm very grateful for the work that done Reddit working group. I hope that other working groups can actually help to surface, right? If someone wants to or if someone wants to actually get a grant for the Reddit working group, I mean they could.
That's the point. That's the idea now.
Maybe they could, right? I mean, think about it. If someone wants to do if someone wants to do a trial for Reddit working group, they could. You know what I'm saying?
Take it up.
Makes sense. Could be interesting, right? I don't know. Could be interesting, and everything. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad people are enjoying this, the longest ever call yet. Just to recap kind of where we've come from the beginning, because it's been an hour and 45 minutes here. 3 pillars to the Jupiverse. There's the Jupiter platform, which has experienced some issues as of late, largely due to volatility and congestion. Teams on top of it, working on solutions, kind of iterating their way towards perfection here, both on spot, DCA, and limit orders. We talked about the Jupe token and the successful vote where 30% of the total supply will be burned over the coming 6 months, not all in one go. And that transparency remains. You can go check out that audit. And then we talked about the J.U.P community, the LFG Launchpad evolving, going to be changing into something more permissionless, more working groups coming through a smaller scale grant system so that people can get off the ground and start working.
This important. Hey, so this important one, sorry. That grant process will be for new work groups, right? And that one will have a process, but it won't be run by us. It will be run by the probably the CWG, right? CWG. And hopefully other work groups can actually get involved as well. Yep.
Yeah, we'd love to. And by the way, as a reminder to everybody, we have an uplink grants program as well over on Super Team Earn. People can go check that out. We've already given out a bunch of different grants.
Can you post it in can post in Discord and ping me? Just at Meow me. Okay, just
you're talking to Vico here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just going through all the comments that people are doing right now. Devour, please make sure that you go through. I think the CWG will start doing comments and feedback on this thing, right? Before this goes to vote next week. So feel free to join the cause, and if anything, just let them know. Yeah, and then
cool. Should we tease this new interview that's coming out, the Meowcast, or it might be too late today?
Let's go.
You want to do it now?
Let's go. Yes.
Let's do it now. Folks, little sneak peek that's coming through the Web3 revolution. Are you ready? Meow and sat down with Steve Chen, the co-founder.
No, Web3, bro. UGM.
They sat down for more than 2 hours over in California, in Atherton, if I'm not mistaken, and talked everything. Obviously, Steve Chen knows a lot about user-generated content, talking about user-generated money here as well as kind of the future of Web3. That whole interview is coming out. Do you want to do it? Should we put it out tonight? I feel like it's a little bit late almost tonight. Maybe we'll post it tomorrow morning. What do you think?
Something.
Yeah, something.
But no, it's not Web3. It's UGM.
It's UGM. So we got to fix the thumbnail that got done about 5 minutes before this call started. Okay, cool. So people can take a look at that. As a reminder, we are finally here at the end of the call. You can check out the Not So Surprise POAP. Verify your Twitter and Discord, and you will receive this beautiful POAP here. I know I love seeing all the stuff on.
Hanging out with Steve was actually amazing because he talked a lot about Web 2, and then we talked a lot about Web 3 and Web 4, right? And it's actually really interesting because there's actually massive parallels between user-generated content and user-generated money. Right, so that's actually amazing. Yeah, it was a great interview, and we'll be up soon. Yeah,
perfect. If you want the POAP, scan this little code. You will get it. I think we'll put the link in there. Jupiter Exchange. You can see the D-Form link is in there. You can get it as long as you have at least 50 Jupe staked. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out, for going through all of this with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. We know it's not a pumpy call. We know there's not a lot of announcements and stuff, but I think it's actually really important to go through this thing and J4J. Yeah, J4J. I think end of this all J4J. Yeah.
Drop a little J for J in the chat, folks. We will see you next week, same time, same place. I mean, we'll see you much before then across Discord, across Twitter, across YouTube, and across everywhere else. Thank you all so much for joining. We will catch you very soon. Good.
Thank you so much. Hey, can you play the twins, the one that the one. Yeah. Bye, guys. See you.
you can see.